Welcome to the deep dive. Let's jump right in. We're looking at a really key moment for India's direction, the 10th Governing Council meeting of NITI Aayog.
Hmm.
Just picture it. May 24th, 2025, Rashtrapati Bhavan Cultural Center in New Delhi. You've got this real power huddle, state leaders all there, quite the atmosphere.
It really was. Chief ministers all zeroed in on this huge goal, making India a Viksit Bharat, a developed India, by 2047.
And the theme itself really set the stage, didn't it?
It did. Viksit Raja for Viksit Bharat at 2047. The idea that, strong states build a strong nation.
Yeah.
Cooperative federalism, basically.
Exactly. And what struck me right away was just the sheer range of topics. I mean, everything from really fundamental stuff like tax sharing.
Oh, yeah. The nitty-gritty.
Right up to these, well, almost futuristic proposals about governance and tech. It felt like a real strategy session playing out.
Definitely. And on those more immediate, maybe potentially thorny issues, Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, he came in quite strong.
Okay, let's get into that. Stalin's main push, it seems, was about money, about tax revenue. He wanted states to get 50%.
That was the number, yeah. A big jump from the current, around 33%?
Right, and even quite a bit higher than the 41% the 15th Finance Commission recommended. So what was his thinking there? What was the argument?
Well, fundamentally, it came down to fairness and what cooperative federalism should actually mean in practice.
That's so.
His point was, look, states shouldn't have to, drag the center to court, as he put it, just to get funds they're supposed to receive. That really strains the whole idea of partnership.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very cooperative. It suggests more friction than teamwork.
Precisely. So a key thing for you listening is how even in these high-level unity forums, basic disagreements about resources can really surface. It shows potential stress points in that whole Viksit Bharat vision.
And he had a specific example, didn't he? Not just the principle. Something about education funds.
Yes, the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan funds. About 2,200 crore that Tamil Nadu reportedly didn't get. Apparently, because the state hadn't signed the Memorandum of Understanding for the center's PM Shri scheme.
So linking funds for a general education program to participation in a specific central scheme.
That's how Stalin framed it. He called them one-sided conditions, basically saying, our children's education funding is being held up because we didn't opt into this particular initiative.
You can see how that would, well, rub a state the wrong way.
Absolutely. He was arguing for those funds to be released, sort of no strings attached, focusing on the impact on schools.
Right. So you have a national goal on one side, but then states feeling maybe penalized if they don't follow every single central plan.
And Stalin wasn't just airing grievances. He was also pointing to Tamil Nadu's own ambitions, aiming for that $1 trillion state economy by 2030.
Driven by strengths in areas like automobiles and green hydrogen is another big one for them.
Exactly. So the implicit question was, if we're driving this kind of growth, shouldn't the center support that more directly with, a fair share of the taxes? It's about recognizing and boosting those internal economic engines.
It's an interesting contrast, isn't it? The path to national development, maybe it's not uniform. Some states focus on immediate fairness, others on long-term strategy.
Both are vital, but they can create tension.
And Stalin had more on his wish list too, right? Something about urban areas?
Yes, a dedicated urban transformation mission. Kind of like the center's EMR 2.0 scheme, which you'll know focuses on urban renewal.
Right.
But tailored specifically for Tamil Nadu's cities, which are urbanizing really fast. Makes sense. It's one of the most urbanized states.
Logical. The infrastructure pressure must be immense.
It is. And then, sort of shifting gears, he proposed river rejuvenation projects, modeled on the Clean Ganga initiative.
Or which rivers?
The Kaveri, Vaigai, and Tamirabhrani. But he added this interesting suggestion, using English names for these projects. The reasoning given was to boost national coherence and regional pride.
Huh. English names for Tamil rivers for national coherence. That's a conversation starter right there.
Definitely highlights that constant balancing act, doesn't it, between national unity and distinct regional identity.
Okay, so let's pivot now. Contrast that with Andhra Pradesh. Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu took a different tack, it seems.
Very different, yeah. Less about immediate demands, more focused on collaborative, future-looking solutions. Big picture stuff.
Right. His main idea was about these specialized subgroups of states.
Exactly. 3 of them, all working towards that huge $30 trillion Indian economy goal by 2047. It felt more like a collective national strategy proposal.
Okay, what were the focuses of these groups?
So the first was pure GDP growth. Think investments, manufacturing, exports, job creation. He even suggested central funding for PPP projects, public-private partnerships, to speed things up.
Makes sense. What about the other two?
The second was on population management. Tackling the challenges, but also leveraging the opportunities of India's demographics.
Reduce demographic dividend, yeah.
And a third was very much future tech, using technology for better governance, AI, quantum computing, drones, that sort of thing.
Very forward thinking. So this whole Swarna Andhra at 2047 vision, he presented it almost as a model for the nation.
Pretty much. Like a potential blueprint, high-quality infrastructure, empowered citizens. And apparently it went down well with the Prime Minister.
Oh, really?
Yeah, reports suggest PM Modi called Naidu's ideas a blueprint for growth and actually encouraged other states to look at them.
Interesting. So the center is showing interest in state-led models that could be scaled up.
It suggests that, yes, it's another key insight for you. Some states bring financial demands, others bring innovative blueprints. Both are part of the development puzzle, but they need different responses from the center.
It's really fascinating seeing these different approaches side by side. Tamil Nadu's focus on financial fairness now, Andhra Pradesh with this grand strategic plan, really shows the diversity across the country.
It absolutely does. And we need to remember the overall context, right? The meeting's theme center and states working together.
Team India.
That was the phrase PM Modi used, emphasizing that collaboration is key to hitting that $30 trillion target by 2047. And I mean, look at the progress already made, 10th largest economy to 5th between 2014 and 2024.
Impressive crime. But
Right.
not everyone was in the room, were they?
No, that's a crucial point. Chief ministers from West Bengal, Kerala, Karnataka, Bihar, and Puducherry, they weren't there.
That feels significant, especially when the theme is cooperative federalism. Their absence kind of speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It certainly raises questions. Does everyone buy into this framework? Are there deeper disagreements about priorities, or maybe just the process itself? It hints that the official unity narrative might be, well, more complex on the ground.
And even among the attendees, the asks were diverse. Telangana, for example.
They proposed a national task force just for the major metros. Mumbai, Delhi, Bengaluru, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad, recognizing their unique role and challenges.
Makes sense. And Punjab?
Punjab brought up really critical issues like water scarcity and the whole Yamuna-Sutlej link canal issue, which is a long-running, very sensitive point.
So it really underscores that states face vastly different realities. A single national plan needs to somehow accommodate all that diversity.
Exactly. The NITI Aayog meeting is supposed to be the forum for that, where these voices get heard. At least that's the idea.
Now, digging a bit deeper, there was some political context around MK Stalin attending this time, wasn't there? It was his first since coming to power in 2021.
That's right. He'd actually boycotted previous meetings,
Why?
citing perceived neglect from the center, feeling Tamil Nadu's interests weren't being addressed. So him showing up this year was notable in itself.
And it didn't go unnoticed back home, I gather.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It immediately kicked off some political sparring. AIDMK leader Edapati K. Palaniswamy, or EPS, basically accused Stalin of surrendering to the center.
Surrendering what?
EPS linked it to the ongoing Enforcement Directorate, the ED, probes related to an alleged scam involving Tasmac, the state's liquor retailer. Pretty pointed accusation.
Wow. So even a national policy meeting gets instantly drawn into state-level political battles.
Absolutely. EPS suggested Stalin's attendance might be influenced by this political pressure. But Stalin hit back hard.
Oh.
On X, formerly Twitter, accused EPS of opportunism, invoked the legacy of past DMK leaders. It got quite heated, very public.
And didn't Udayanithi Stalin also comment?
Yes, he chimed in too, basically saying they weren't intimidated by the ED or the central government. It just highlights how high the stakes are, how everything gets viewed through that political lens.
Yeah, this meeting wasn't just about policy points. It was clearly another stage for these ongoing political dynamics.
For sure.
So let's step back again. Looking at the whole thing, the demands, the proposals, the absences, the politics, what does it tell us about cooperative federalism in India right now? It feels complex.
It really does encapsulate the complexities. You have Stalin's points highlighting that constant tension over resource sharing, The need for states to feel like real partners, not supplicants.
That line about not having to struggle, argue, or litigate for funds really sticks. It speaks to a trust issue, maybe?
It does.
Why?
But then you contrast that with Naidu's proposals. They show the potential, right? What happens when states proactively contribute ideas and the center encourages that collaboration?
Yeah, his vision shows how you can leverage state strengths for the national good.
Exactly. But then again, those empty chairs, the absent CMs, they're a stark reminder. Effective cooperative federalism isn't just about saying the words. It needs real engagement, mutual respect, a shared sense of purpose across the board.
So, wrapping up this deep dive on the NITI Aayog meeting, what are the main takeaways for you? It feels like this constant push and pull, states asserting their needs, the center pushing the national vision.
That's a good way to put it. You see the tangible demands for fairness from Tamil Nadu side by side with these ambitious collaborative blueprints from Andhra Pradesh. Viksit Bharat clearly needs cooperative federalism. But this meeting shows just how complicated that is in practice. The resource arguments, the different state priorities, the underlying political currents, they all have to be managed somehow.
It really leaves you pondering, doesn't it? What does cooperative federalism truly look like on the ground in a country as diverse as India? How do you balance all those regional needs and aspirations with the big national goals?
That's the fundamental question, I think. And how India answers that, how it navigates that balance, will be crucial on the road to 2047, and probably long after that, too.